What is up, my family? We are back. After a month of waiting, we are finally here again. Hokuzono has decided to grace us with his presence again, and he decided to drop one of the most depressing chapters I have ever read. Guys, this chapter is actually just heartbreaking. That's the only word I can use to describe it. It is so sad. Really seeing the flashback of Rokuhira and seeing where he came from, seeing these younger formative years of his life, and the guy was going through it, guys. I had no idea. We all knew that he was an orphan and he was like running around with Shiba and the gang, but we had no idea to what extent it was. None of us could have foreseen it was this bad. Guys, Rokuhira, I feel for this guy so bad. He's lost so much, okay? This chapter, it just sets so much up for the future while still giving us the realization that nothing is going to be okay. We are back, guys. Enough time has passed. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Today, we are talking Kagurabachi chapter 126. Alright, y'all, let's jump right into it. I'm gonna try to keep some enthusiasm in my voice, guys, but it's just hard because this chapter is just so sad, okay? We start the chapter with a glimpse of Rokuhira, and this is way back, right? And we actually see that Rokuhira's father, he was a swordsmith as well, right? So this definitely runs in the Rokuhira family, right? And his father, although he was a swordsmith and although he trained Rokuhira and instilled those methods and values in Rokuhira about being a swordsmith, we see that his father wasn't really a great guy, right? Because while his father takes the time to train Rokuhira, his father is also very abusive, right? His father beats up on his mom, and his father likes to drink, get drunk, and just get rowdy, right? So right from the get-go, Rokuhira's in a rough environment, right? And after this, we see Rokuhira's father, he passed, right? There was some incident with a customer at his forge, and Rokuhira's father was found at his forge, dead, right? His mother, relieved. Rokuhira himself, he's a little relieved as well, right? How can you not be relieved? But here's the stinger. His father died on his birthday, right? And we get this glimpse of Rokuhira and his mother talking, right? And his mother is basically, you know, just saying, I'm sorry, you know, like of all the days this could have happened. And Rokuhira, we see that he's actually taking it well. You know, he's like, it's not your fault, mom. And he's really just trying to console his mother. And he tells his mother, like, I'm going to protect you. I'll always be there for you, you know? The next blurb, right? And it's so sad, guys. It's one thing after the next, this chapter, man. It's one thing after the next. After they have his birthday dinner, right? We see that although his father died, his father did leave them a little bit of money to get by, but it really wasn't enough, right? And his mother, she can't work because his father beat her half to blindness, right? So they're struggling to get by. And then the chapter just takes the darkest turn ever, and we see Rokuhira's mother trying to poke his own eyes out, right? And she's like going kind of crazy, right? I guess Rokuhira, he's starting to look a little like his father. His mom, she can't take it, you know? The abuse, she's got PTSD or something, clearly, but she's not in the right state of mind, right? And this is when Rokuhira finds his mom with a note. I'm sorry. She took her own life, bro. One thing after the next, man. You know, after Rokuhira told her that he was gonna protect her, and now he feels like he's the reason why she went and did what she did, right? Because of him, right? He literally says to himself, you know, he's like, the more I started to look like my dad, the harder it was for her to love me. You know, like, it's my fault. And it's so crazy to see, because this is literally him in his like young years. Like, this is way before he's even made a name for himself forging, before he's even forged his first katana. He's already been through so much. Like, imagine the kind of outlook on life that you'd have going through all of this, you know, thinking that you're the reason that brings suffering and pain to all these people around you. How could you ever bring yourself to form a connection, you know, a genuine connection with anybody? And it's so sad, because we see this exact thing play out, right? And although he's orphaned, it was really nice, because for a time he's not lonely, right? He meets Shiba, right? He meets Chiaki, right? He meets the gang, and he gets along with them. They all have stories of their own. They all come from troubled past, so they have something to bond over, you know? But it's really interesting, because Rokuhira says, after 3 years, I realized I didn't want anything to happen to them. In other words, they matter to me, and it scares him, right? He isolates himself. He doesn't want to bring more suffering to anybody he loves. And after this whole thing with his mom, how could he not believe that, you know, if I make a genuine connection with somebody, if I let somebody, you know, in, it's just gonna cause more pain? Like, it's so sad. Like, that state of living, like, it's not good, you know? And we see him in his apartment, and he's just holed up by himself, right? Like, this is what people do, you know? When they don't want to hurt anybody else, it's best to just isolate yourself. Nobody else gets hurt, right? And he literally says, like, he's worried the same thing is gonna happen, you know? Just traumatized, absolutely traumatized from young age, right? And he literally says, like, she'd have been better off without me. And this is when the chapter takes an upwards turn, and Chiaki, right? She shows up at his door, and she's like, you know, like, can I come up? Like, what's going on? I've been worried about you. Like, nobody's seen you. Like, we're all worried about you. Like, what's going on? You know, and he's like, he's trying to play it off, you know, I'm cool, I'm fine, whatever, you know? And she's like, you know, like, I'm just really glad that you're okay. And it's really cute, you know? Like, I always say there's this amazing quote, and I love it, you know? But it's like, when the people you love are trying to push you away, you gotta find it in yourself to grab onto them harder. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's just human nature. Like, you know, people will take the path of least resistance, and a lot of the time that path of least resistance is just isolation, right? Because you can't hurt anybody else, you know? It's just yourself, so it's fine. You know what I mean? If you're hurting, who cares? As long as nobody else is, it's all good, right? So the path of least resistance. And we can really just see Chiaki just, she loves the guy, man. You know what I mean? From young, you know? Best couple ever, bruv. Come on. They've been had that connection. She's not letting this guy go nowhere. You know what I mean? He's over here trying to distance himself, you know, isolate himself. And she's like, no. Like, I'm right here. Like, you don't have to do all that. Like, the way you are perceiving things is just, like, not true. And, like, I'm here to, like, show you that, you know? And, like, she's saying that without saying that, you know? It's a really beautiful scene. And they end up going back to his apartment, and she starts cooking for him, you know? And there's a really poignant scene where he just apologizes, you know? And he says, I didn't know if it was, like, okay for everyone to, like, have a guy like me around, you know? And it's just, when you go through those traumatizing things, you know, and you develop that image of yourself, it's just, it's very hard to get out of that sometimes, you know what I mean? So it's like, the people around you, like, if you don't have a good support system, like, you will crumble for sure, you know? Because Chiaki literally tells him, like, what are you talking about? I want you around. Like, have you been eating? Are you okay? You know, like, she's taking care of him, you know, and we see that they're just making a little meal together, right? And Rokuhira, he's like, you know, I've been eating, but I don't get home cooked meals like this, you know, like the guy barely has money to feed himself, much less get proper food, you know, like when's the last time he had a home cooked meal, right? And it's so funny because Chiaki mistakes it, you know, she's like, if you don't like it, like, I can always like come back and like try again, like I can always come back and make something else, like I've been trying different recipes. And he's just like, it's literally delicious, you know? And we get this little panel of them beside each other in the kitchen, you know? And she's just like reaching out for him, and I'm like, bro, this is what life is about, bruv. Companionship, partnership, you know, people to have around you when you're going through those dark moments, you know, like life isn't easy, you know, for anybody, you know, like everybody goes through their own shit, but it's like, it's so important to have like genuine people around you who care for you, who love you, you know, who will go the extra mile for you, who will do anything for you, because, you know, like it's rare. And if you don't have that, like it's very easy to go down a path of just absolute darkness, right? Like imagine if Chiaki wasn't in Rokuhira's life, right? Where would he be? What kind of man would he turn out to be, right? Like just from these interactions we're seeing with him and Chiaki, like we can see the influence that she has on him in the future, just in the way that he carries himself and the way he like approaches life with the ideology to protect people, right? He makes swords to protect, they're not to kill, right? So we can really see that whole ideology being formed just in this relationship, just in this chapter with Chiaki, right? And we end the chapter so beautifully. Some fireworks, and Rokuhira and Chiaki are just, you know, they look like they're laughing, having a good time. And I'm like, bro, like, thank God, you know, Rokuhira's like, you know, he's starting to let go, you know? It's really gonna be sad to see what really went down, like when she becomes Princess Soga, because guys, Hokuzono, the guy is a master at writing. The guy just gave us a flashback within a flashback, and it's one of the best chapters I've ever read of Kagurabachi. So emotional, so like poignant, and just, I don't know, bruv, this chapter just like hit me like a truck, bro. Even the last panel with just Rokuhira and Chiaki, like, oh my god, man. Say, like, I don't know, man. W for Rokuhira. The guy has had a tough life, bro. Like, mom killed herself, dad was an abusive drunk, okay? Loses Chiaki, they give up Princess Soga, if you guys forgot, right? To the Mikoboshi clan, right? He's gonna get her back somehow, but she's not in the main story, so he loses her again somehow, and then he dies. His enchanted swords are taken from him. Like, the man has lived a life of just straight tragedy, you know? So to see like just him having a little bit of fun, you know, like, it's great. I don't know where the next chapter is gonna go, like if we're just gonna get straight, you know, Rokuhira and Chiaki growing up, but I'm here for it. This chapter was absolutely phenomenal. What are you guys thinking? I need to know. After a month break, Hokuzono has outdone himself. The guy came in swinging for our hearts, okay? I damn near had a tear brought to my eye when I was reading this. This is straight gas, guys. Kagurabachi been on top. What can I say? And guys, I always tell y'all, you do not need to read it yourself. You know, if you don't got the time to read Kagurabachi, don't worry about it. I got you. Every Sunday, we're here. Hit that subscribe button, bruv, because we are on it, bro. Kagurabachi is the one to watch out for, guys. I am not joking. This flashback, it just keeps getting deeper and more layered and more layered. I am just loving where we're going. What are you guys thinking? Comment down below. You know I respond to each and every one of y'all. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you so much, and we will be back with another one.